Hey everyone, thanks for your support in 2024. We have a lot of cool stuff coming in 2025, and here are some of the things you can look forward to as we move into next year. In the lead up to The Mandalorian and Grogu in 2026, we'll be starting a full series rewatch of both The Mandalorian and The Book of Boba Fett on exploring hyperspace lanes beginning in October. You can also expect a rewatch of Andor, and we will have reviews of every episode of Andor and the rest of the Skeleton Crew as those come out. Josie will be returning as we continue to rank every Star Wars thing released ever. Reviews of every episode of every Marvel Disney Plus show, including Your Friendly Neighborhood Spider Man, The Eyes of Wakanda, Wonder Man, Ironheart, Daredevil Born Again, and Marvel Zombies, the day after each episode releases, will be available on Beware of Spoilers. We'll be having special event podcasts on 30-minute reviews for the Academy Awards, our 2024 year in review in early January, ranking all of Phase 5 of the MCU after Fantastic Four First Steps comes out, and our 10th anniversary special. Once we complete our rankings of all the Pokemon games on the backlog files, we'll be moving on to Kingdom Hearts and Final Fantasy. Over on the YouTube channel, you can join in for playthroughs of Mario and Luigi Superstar Saga, Pokemon White, Pokemon Mystery Dungeon Blue Rescue Team, Kingdom Hearts Chain of Memories, Kingdom Hearts Recoded, Mario Golf Toadstool Tour, Sonic Adventure 2, LEGO Racers 2, LEGO Star Wars The Complete Saga, and SpongeBob SquarePants Battle for Bikini Bottom. Want to keep on top of all the new things we have coming? Subscribe at mwpnews.com, subscribe on YouTube at youtube.com/@mwpnews, or subscribe to Beware of Spoilers, 30-minute reviews, exploring hyperspace lanes, and the backlog files on Spotify or wherever you get your podcasts. Again, thank you for your support.
Oh,
There we go.
fuck.
Welcome to Exploring Hyperspace Lanes. I am Adam,
And I'm Josie.
and Josie's back with us for the first time in a while. This isn't the first episode in a while, though, because in your absence, I've been doing, you know how I usually do the episode discussions for the new episodes of TV shows?
Mm-hmm.
I moved the Star Wars ones to the show for obvious reasons. And where it's Andor Palooza now. Because we're like 12 weeks out from Andor, so it's a rewatch of Andor.
It's
So
an and boring.
I know you don't like Andor. Um,
Mm.
which is a we're not going to relitigate this. We have enough to talk about today. So last year we did a 18 question predictions thing. Now this year we've limited it down to 10 questions, so it's not quite as in depth. But we're going to go through the results of last year's predictions, and we're going to make predictions for 2025. Um, I sent Josie the questions in advance, but she's been busy, so I don't know if she had a chance to really read them.
A
But
little
we'll go
bit.
through. Um, so let's go through this because there's been we the obvious answer here is that we have much higher expectations for Lucasfilm than Lucasfilm maybe deserves based on the results of this thing. So let's just go through. Number one, does Andor season 2 come out in 2024? We both said no, it was delayed. It's coming out in April. Nothing really to talk about there. It is coming out in April. The second question was what comes first, the Acolyte or Skeleton Crew? Um, I said the Acolyte, you said Skeleton Crew. I was right. The Acolyte came out in the summer, Skeleton Crew came out in December. The third question, does the Bad Batch season 3 come out in 2024? We both said no. We were both wrong.
Wrong.
The Bad Batch season 3 did come out. Did you watch that or no?
No.
I I wasn't, overly thrilled about it. Um, the next one was does Tales of the Jedi season 2 come out in 2024? I gave this as a technically a yes because we were both said yes, so I said technically yes, it's correct.
Mm-hmm.
It was Tales of the Empire, but it did come out in 2024. Um, then comes the part where we start to get into the maybe we thought higher of Lucasfilm than Lucasfilm thought of themselves. Do any of the three confirmed movies, which are, for the sake of this, we're going to talk about this quite a bit in this episode, New Jedi Order, Heir to the Empire, and Dawn of the Jedi, um, get confirmed release dates? We both said yes. None of them did. Do any of the
Okay.
three movies get confirmed official titles? We both said yes. None of them did. Do any
Oh,
of the three movies enter production in 2024? We both said yes. None of them did.
okay.
So they announced three movies 2 years ago at this point, none of which have had any movement. The eighth
Okay.
question was, does The Mandalorian get confirmed for season four? We both said yes. I said we were both wrong because it technically was canceled, but they are getting a fourth season as a movie, which is The Mandalorian and Grogu,
Mm.
which neither of us thought was going to happen. Neither of us thought they were going to do the fourth season of The Mandalorian as a theatrically released movie. Um, does Ahsoka get confirmed for season two? We both said yes, and it was in fact renewed for a second season. Do any other Disney Plus shows get announced? We both said yes. We were both wrong. They did not announce any more Disney Plus shows. Um, does The Acolyte get renewed for season two? We both said yes because there was a multi-season plan, and we were both wrong. It is the only show to have been officially canceled.
Oh,
Um, the only Star Wars show to get confirmed. No, we canceled this one.
okay.
Which is bizarre considering it was the second highest rated show on Disney Plus last year.
Huh.
It was the only show that did. Do you want to guess what the only show that did better last year was?
No idea.
Percy Jackson and the Olympians.
Oh, okay.
That was the
Is that any
only.
good?
I liked it. I've never read the books, but I did enjoy it. Um,
Huh?
it was pretty good. It's funny because they shot it over a very long period of time, and like halfway through production, the kid who plays Percy hit puberty and had a growth spurt and his voice dropped. So scene to scene, he's a different height. It's pretty funny actually.
That is funny.
Like 'cause it's like sometimes he'll be like a little bit shorter than Annabeth, and then it's like the next scene he'll be like a full head taller than her. Um, it's pretty funny.
That is
Do,
funny.
does Skeleton Crew get renewed for season two? I said no, you said maybe. I chalked this up as a no answer because it hasn't been officially renewed even up until now. So I chalked it up as no answer.
Okay.
Um, we asked, does Yoda appear in The Acolyte? We both said yes, and he did in fact appear in the finale of The Acolyte. Um, do any characters besides Vernestra Rowe from the High Republic show up in The Acolyte? I was very wrong. I said yes, and I was specific about who it would be and who would play them, and that did not happen. No, no other characters from the High Republic did show up, although they did mention the Legacy Run disaster, which was kind of cool. So we were both wrong. Do any animated shows get announced? Um, I chalked this up as no answer again because they haven't announced any new shows, but there is one in active development. We just don't know what it is.
I think that means that that's not an announcement.
But we
Did it
know it's
happen
in
this year? Did an announcement happen this year?
technically
No. So
technically because Lucasfilm did post a job that they were working on it. So they didn't they announced that they are working on a show. They didn't announce that what the show is. Because like they were staffing up for the show,
then
but they
is it
didn't say
really announcing a show?
yeah, because it's in development. Do any major characters appear in Skeleton Crew? We both said yes, and I'm gonna say we were both right, although I think we're stretching what major character means to say we're both right, because Vane from season three of The Mandalorian, the pirate, appeared, um, which I think we are stretching the word major to the thinnest possible definition. Um, do any other actors from the sequel trilogy get confirmed to New Jedi Order? We both said yes. We were both wrong because there's been no movement on that movie. And do any books get announced to take place outside any of the movie eras or the High Republic? I said yes. You said no. You were right on that. So we split. We both got six right.
Nice.
So we tied.
Oh,
6 out of 18.
that's
Um,
pretty cool.
yeah.
I
So
thought for sure you were gonna beat the crap out of me.
the
I
thing
don't
is
pay
too, it's
attention
like
enough.
it's not just that I pay more attention to it, which sounds like I'm being mean, but like I'm not like because I
No,
pay
because
attention to the
you
news.
pay attention to it a lot more than I do, and
Like
you did just as well as me.
yeah,
So,
I think a lot of it comes from the fact. Well, no, I think a lot of it comes from the fact that I expect more from them, and I didn't think that they would kind of do this. And I think when we get into this year's predictions, we're gonna address that. I think some of these things are gonna bite them in the ass a little bit.
oh,
Um, so I have 10 questions. And the reason why there are so many less is because last year when I made the questions, like there were a bunch that like we'll just confirm, we'll consolidate it down, um, and make it a little bit clearer. And I think the
I
thing is
like
too,
that. I think 10 solid questions instead of a bunch of just rando questions is good.
plus the other thing is like we had a much clearer picture of the future in 2013, 20, I'm sorry, wow, 2023 going into 2024. We don't have that now. There's
You don't
very
think so?
there's very little in active development that we know about, which is kind of this weird thing. Like we know the Mandalorian and Grogu, we know the three other movies, we know Ahsoka season two. That's it.
Hmm.
That's all that's actively confirmed. Even like on the video game side, there's that game Eclipse that we've been hearing about for almost a decade at this point, and the same with the remake of Knights of the Old Republic
Hmm.
for PlayStation 5. And
Okay.
even that's something that is it still being worked on? We don't know. Um, but let's go with the first question. Does the first trailer for The Mandalorian and Grogu drop in 2025? Do you
Um,
want me to tell you the release date? Does that help you with this guess?
yeah.
So it's releasing the third week of May in 2026. So it's the same slot as Solo. And for frame of reference, the trailer for Solo dropped Super Bowl Sunday of 2020 of 2015. Oh no, 2018, the year it came out.
And it's meant to come out this year?
The movie
Next
comes
year.
out next year in 2026. The movie comes out. The movie's
When?
shot, the movie's done. Jon Favreau is directing. Like they're done with
When?
principal photography. The movie's
When?
coming
When in 2026?
May.
Hmm. Yes.
Okay.
I think it'll come out around Christmas.
I think that because the movie is done, and they finished principal photography last year. I think that they have enough well spaced out events this year that this trailer will do the kind of circuit. I think that CinemaCon's gonna get a look at it in April. I think Star Wars Celebration in May is gonna get a look at it.
You
San
think
Diego
so?
Comic-Con,
You think they're gonna hype it big?
yeah,
They're gonna give like a whole year of hype.
because 2026 is gonna be the first year we have a theatrically released Star Wars movie since 2019.
Oh, okay,
Because
okay.
we haven't had a movie since The Rise of Skywalker. So they're going to at any event they can do at CCXP, they're going to have it. They're going to have it at New York. They're going to have it at San Diego. Like they're going to hype this thing as much as they can. And then I think they're going to drop it midway through October. I would say probably New York, whichever comes last, CCXP or New York Comic Con. They're going to drop it for public consumption Monday Night Football of that, whatever the better game is.
Hmm.
Um, Either that or they're gonna save it for, you know, the whatever Monday night game they have in wild card or the divisional round of the NFL. But I do think we get the trailer next year, at some point.
Okay.
Even if
Next year, not this
in
year.
this year in 2025, I mean.
Oh, but let the record show you said next year.
Because I wrote these questions and my answers in 2024, so I'm reading what I wrote because I've been trying to do this for a month.
No, I think it should be next year.
No, it's gonna be 2025. I think at some point in 2025 we're gonna have this trailer officially released. Um, I'm a little just confused as to how they finished shooting the movie last year. Are they really doing a full year of visual effects on this? Like,
Probably.
and I know Disney likes to build in reshoots, but like, this feels excessive.
Maybe they're
Um,
gonna do some pretty awesome stuff
I hope
with it.
so. I
And
mean,
and if you think it's gonna be a whole year of promotion, then at the very least it better be a change in like a new change in special effects.
See,
you
that's the
know?
thing is that it's like this is a movie that they're going to want to and the other thing I looked at really with this is that you want the trailer for this to run before Avatar Fire and Ash
Oh,
because
okay.
they're gonna want the trailer. I think they're gonna want the trailer after that. I think there's a chance they even drop it at San Diego. That way you can run it before Fantastic Four.
Hmm.
Because
Another Fantastic Four?
oh, you didn't see the trailer yet? This one looks really
No.
good. The trailer dropped
We
yesterday.
just keep redoing the same fucking movie.
Well, well, what happened was in 2005 they had to Fox, otherwise they lost the rights. Then they did the
Okay.
sequel in 2007. Then they had to reboot it again in 2015, otherwise they would have lost the rights to Marvel, which they ended up doing anyway when Fox got sold. Um, so now this is the reboot. This is going to go directly into the next Avengers movie though. So
Okay.
this is the last movie before Avengers Doomsday is Fantastic Four First Steps, which comes out in July.
Okay.
Um, so second question. Does season two of Ahsoka enter production in 2025?
Oh, because it's already been announced, right?
Right, we know season two of Ahsoka is happening.
What do you mean by enter production?
Like they start shooting it.
Oh, probably then, right?
I think that's a definite. I think that they don't have anything else that they've really talked about to be able to say like we're gonna put Ahsoka on the back burner for that. Um plus the other thing is this is the only show left before they get into they gotta start building toward Heir to the Empire at some point. Like because that movie's coming. Filoni's directing it. They announced it 2 years ago, and that's gonna wrap up the Mandalorian like era stuff. So like at some point we gotta get this.
Hmm.
And if that's gonna be the case, then why not, you know, Ahsoka be the last thing. It comes out in 2026. Movie comes in 2027. You're good.
Okay.
Um, I think May 2027 or December 2027 is a reserve date for a Star Wars thing. Um, Number three, does any new live action show get confirmed or announced? We'll use them interchangeably. So a new
Mm,
live action show on Disney Plus that hasn't already had a season come out yet.
no.
Really?
Yeah. I think they're gonna ride on what they like and what's already done well.
Right, but like I agree that they have enough good they can work with. I just don't think there's enough there to continue because like The Mandalorian and Grogu is the end of The Mandalorian. They're
I
not
see.
continue.
I think they'll find a way, or we'll see like another, I don't know, I think they'll start working on other projects
Well, that okay,
that
so
aren't
yes.
movies, that aren't necessarily uh new TV shows. Like we might see more movies.
Well, it's a weird situation because I think we're starting to get toward the beginning of the streaming bubble starting to not maybe not burst but deflate a little bit because Disney's earnings were not great on the streaming front. That said, like, and even if you look at Marvel, like they're dumping out a lot of the stuff that they've been in production on for a few years in 2025 because like Daredevil starts in a month. Ironheart is in June. There's that Wakanda show. There's the animated show set in the spin-off of What If about zombies.
So maybe instead of Star Wars shows, we're gonna start seeing some more Marvel shows
I don't
for
think
a
that
while.
I don't think Disney would be thrilled about that though. Because like
Hmm.
right now, like let's take a quick appraisal of what's out there right now. The Mandalorian's over. That's gonna be the movie. Unless they're gonna come back with a season four after the movie. I don't know if that's something that's gonna be lucrative for them though. But regardless, Mandalorian, we'll say for all intents and purposes, is done. Book of Boba Fett is done. I don't think we're getting a season two of Kenobi. Like, I don't think we're getting another season of that. Um, Ahsoka has season two. Maybe they do season three. The
So
Acolyte.
what? Maybe they won't do another season of Kenobi, but maybe it'll be in that same series, and it'll be a season of like another Jedi.
Right. So, okay. So you'll say yes then. Another live action show would get confirmed.
I guess so, but I guess I'm thinking that it would still be prob like considered on the Kenobi way.
Right. I mean, well, that'd still be a live action show then. Like, it's just not like what I mean is like, do we get an announcement of a live action show
I
that is
think,
new, that's not a continuation of something we already have,
but no, I'm saying I think they would continue consider it a continuation.
like an anthology kind of.
Like chapter one's Kenobi, chapter two's somebody else.
I don't think they would do that because the show is called Obi-Wan Kenobi.
Whatever.
I'll put you as a yes. I'll give you the benefit of the doubt and put you as a yes on this.
Hmm.
That way you don't get screwed if that's right.
What? Do okay. Whatever you want.
Um, do any of the confirmed movies enter production this year? And again,
Yes.
for the sake of this, the confirmed movies are the new Jedi Order movie from Charmin Obaid which is set after Rise of Skywalker with Rey in the lead. Heir to the Empire, which is the movie wrapping up all the stories on the Mandalorian side of things, um, presumably with Pedro Pascal and Rosario Dawson in the lead. And then the Dawn of the Jedi movie from James Mangold, that's set 10,000 years in the past. Um, and mm, yeah, it's about the origins of the Jedi. Those are the three movies that are, when we say confirmed movies, those are the three I mean.
Okay.
So do
Yes.
you think one of them enters production?
Yeah.
Do you want to take a guess as to which one, or do you want to just say?
No.
Okay.
No
Um,
idea. One of them gotta. One of them
I
have to.
I think that yes, one enters production. I think that it's got to be New Jedi Order though.
Yeah.
I think New Jedi Order has to be the movie that they try to get because we're getting close to at this point. This December will be 10 years since The Force Awakens
So why do you think it's that?
because I think they're going to want to capitalize on that. I think that the thought process will be enough time has passed that if they release this movie 10 years after The Last Jedi, they won't have to, there'll be nostalgia for it.
Mm-hmm.
Because if you were a kid because let's take the adult fans out of the equation here. There were a lot of kids who went to see this movie. If you take if you were a kid who was like 4 or 5 years old, as old as we were with the prequels, and then you wait 10 years and then you're gonna bring back these characters, you're gonna be able to bank on that. So I think that that's kind of what they're doing with this. They're biding the time, and I think that if you enter production this year, if you do a 2 year production cycle, that'll put it for a 2027 release, 2028. And May 2028 is kind of vacant right now. Because they're not going to put it in May 2027 because they're not going to compete with Secret Wars. But they may put it in May of 2028, which I think they may be competing with a possible X-Men movie, um, an MCU X-Men movie, but that's unclear at this point because Marvel hasn't put out their full release slate for post Secret Wars yet. But they do have a release date reserved. So I think that the new Jedi Order movie is the one that they do. And I think too, Avatar 4 and 5 haven't shot yet, so this is something that they could use to fill in that slot in the December date, which is something else that like if you're gonna do this movie, I think you got to put it in the December date because that's when we all went to see these movies originally.
Okay.
So if you're banking on nostalgia, the Christmas and all of that, the Christmas of it all is gonna help with that.
Christmas of it all.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
Okay.
look, a lot of people are going to associate those movies with Christmas because you went the week before Christmas to see them.
Okay.
Like, and that guy very vocally did not like the death of Han Solo sitting next to me, and I will never forget that.
Why? What did he say?
When Han Solo got killed we saw it, me and Peter and Evelyn, his girlfriend, went to go see this movie opening night. Um, and we got there 2 hours early. This was the era before COVID, obviously, when now everyone's got reserved seating when you go to the movie theater. And I don't know if you remember um the Regal at Colony Center, where you had to like walk through the food court to get to it. We got there 2 hours early. We were lined up in the food court, waiting to get in. So we finally get in, and we were there so early we had to sit 2 rows from the screen. So we're sitting there with, like this, like leaned back all the way, looking up at the screen, and we're watching the movie. Um, as soon as the opening crawl happens, there's an applause. Peter turns to me and says, "I fully understand theater shooters now." Um, and every little thing got a standing ovation. And then you get to the scene where Han Solo dies, and um,
You know, I
he,
saw that movie in theater,
uh,
and that did not happen. I think like people did not clap, they didn't do standing ovations, they weren't weird
it
about
wasn't
it.
standing ovation. People didn't get up out of their seat like they were at
People
con
didn't
or something.
clap at every
The
dumb
the the
thing.
applause, oh my God, that was like the I would say that was the worst applause movie
I
because
think
like there
I
was a
think
lot of
somebody was trolling you.
yeah, the entire theater got together to troll the two of
No,
us.
no, no, no. There was some trolls in in the theater that thought it would be funny to get other people to start clapping because that's what people do.
Well, it worked because everyone else started clapping too, and me and
Yeah.
Peter were sitting there like, "What the like? You don't have to do this." So Han Solo gets killed,
But
and
I'm
the
just saying
guy
that didn't happen where I saw it. I think that's like a New Yorker thing.
I don't know if it's a New Yorker thing or a college town thing.
Could be a
Good,
college town
because
thing.
like keep in mind, like it's the city of Albany. There's like 4 or 5 college. I mean, there's one less now because St. Rose is closed, but like there's like Siena, Albany. There's a whole bunch of colleges in that area, and it was in a mall too. So one of the two malls. So um,
Have you
you
been
know,
to a busy mall lately?
no, not recently. Can't say
No?
I have. No.
Went
Um,
up to the mall up in Portland. The um it was bustling. Absolutely bustling.
I can't. When was the last time I went to a mall? I mean, I went to Dick's, but that's not in the mall. It's like outside the mall. Um, and the same with like what's it called? The same with like Barnes and Noble. It's not in the mall itself. It's outside the mall, standalone, but like
Yeah.
adjacent to the mall. I don't like if I buy clothes, I buy them at TJ Maxx or Marshalls, something like that. I don't really go
hmm
in the mall.
Oh,
Um,
I love me some TJ Maxx and Marshalls.
like, but like okay, so this guy when he dies starts like rocking back and forth like this and starts going like I don't like this, I don't like this, I don't like and to this day like.
I really think you're making fun of somebody that you shouldn't be making fun of. This kind
Um,
of sounds like you're being a bully
maybe, but still,
to
it's like
somebody that
it's
has special
it,
needs.
it's not the worst thing that I saw in a movie theater. Did you see Wicked by any chance?
I did not, and I want to.
It is really good. I really enjoyed
You
Wicked.
told me that.
It's really good. But
And I love a musical. I'm
yes.
really excited.
Um,
I want to
I
watch it.
it's I think it's on digital now. I think it's definitely on DVD now. You can pick it up
Hey,
at
did you
Walmart.
ever go see that new vampire movie?
Nosferatu, I did not.
No? Okay. Are you
Peter did. He
going to?
really loved it.
Did he? Is it
Yeah.
still in theaters? That's something I want to go see as
I
well.
think so, but it'll be on Peacock relatively soon, though.
Yeah, but I
Um,
kind of want to see it on the big screen. I don't know. There's not very many movies where I feel that way, so
it's he really liked it.
yeah.
He had it on his top 10 list.
Oh wow.
Yeah, he had it on. I think he had it like number two, like just behind Dune
Wow.
Part Two. Um,
Okay.
I don't have the top 10 in front of me right now,
I
but
did watch that too, by the way.
it was it not the greatest thing ever.
And I saw it in theaters and I stayed awake.
Oh, like that movie is just fantastic. Like
It was fine.
that was we you know how we do the year in review every year, and every year we invite you, and you're like, I didn't see enough movies to do that. Um,
I
so
didn't.
Dune Part Two was the winner this year by unanimous consent.
It's like we talk regularly. I'm obviously like working all the freaking
I know,
time.
me too. I go to the movies 3 times a week though. I
Oh,
go after work. Like I go from work to the movie theater because it's on the way.
I value my sleep.
Oh, there's your problem. What the hell?
I know.
But yeah, Wicked had the worst because the guy sitting next to me, I think, came during Defying Gravity. This man was so excited, and I'm like, look, you clearly have seen the play. You clearly, because I have not seen the play. But like you've clearly seen the play because you know all the words to every song in this thing. And I went on like the fan preview night. So it's like people wearing costume, and I was like, oh my God. Like I scan my ticket and I look around the lobby, I'm like, fuck, I shouldn't have scanned the ticket. I should have left. Like this looks like it's gonna be a miserable experience. Like, so this guy, like clearly you knew this was going to happen. So this guy was like, you know, like visibly brought to orgasm by this song. And I was
Oh,
like, I don't think that that's a necessary response to what this is. Like,
well, you could have joined in. You could have had a bonding
oh yeah,
moment.
that's true. Yeah, that
Yeah,
I should have
you
offered the reach
did
around.
say that you wanted to meet more people.
That's true. I feel like
That
the
would have helped you meet a people.
that's true. You're not wrong. Um, regardless, um, and it, and I'm willing to excuse the amount of clapping that happened at No Way Home because I feel like that was just a lot of people who were in a movie theater for the first time in like a year and a half because of COVID, and it's like they forgot how to act. Like, so yeah.
I think
Question.
this is a New York thing. I don't have this happen.
Yeah, I think it's just a lot of people around here have main character syndrome, where it's like I'm the protagonist of reality, and what everyone else is doing around me doesn't matter. I'm the one that's most important. Um, but yeah, at least we did not vote for Trump in the election. So, number five, do any of the confirmed movies get canceled?
Are you gonna list them?
It's the same three
We're just
movies.
stopping there?
Well, no, it's the same three movies.
Well,
Do
what
any
were
of
the
the
movies?
New Jedi Order, Heir to the Empire, Dawn of the Jedi? These are all the theatrically released movies.
That is a good question because they've completed movies and then just fucking canceled them.
Yeah, well, not Disney. In Disney's defense, they haven't done that with a theatrically released movie yet. That's been almost exclusively Warner Brothers.
Oh, okay.
Um, Disney has not done that yet. None of these movies have shot
So they want
anything.
to join the club?
No, none of these movies have shot anything. They have not shot anything yet. There's a script that's being worked on for New Jedi Order. There's been no word of anything for the other two.
Okay.
So the other
Hmm.
two are still in development, quote unquote, but I don't think Mangold has turned in a script yet for Dawn of the Jedi, and I don't think Filoni has turned in a script yet, which I mean, who would he turn the script into himself for Heir to the Empire?
Well, convince me.
I think there's a chance that both of those movies get canceled, Heir to the Empire and Dawn of the Jedi for different reasons. Um, I think,
Really?
yeah, I think New Jedi Order is going to happen. I
Okay.
think they've put too much time into this and they've made too many public announcements of it for it to happen, for it to not happen. Like
Hmm.
they're in too deep where no matter what the quality of the movie ends up being, it will come out at some point.
Okay.
Um, Heir to the Empire, there's a chance that it gets scuttled and moved to Disney Plus. Not as a movie, or maybe as a movie, but more likely as a series. I'm hearing rumors about a Champions show for Marvel, which is meant to be like a crossover of like Miss Marvel and Kate Bishop and all of these young characters they've been introducing lately in the MCU.
All
And
these
then,
young people. You sound like an old
well,
person.
like
Sorry.
no, I mean like the high school and college age characters
Yeah,
they've
I
been
got you.
introducing. Like,
Oh, I watched this is not Marvel. Never mind, keep going. But I totally have a show that I like.
okay, like they're I've heard rumors they're planning on doing that. And then there's also the Defenders, which is that big crossover for like Daredevil and all of that that happened on Netflix. I think there's a chance they do something similar for Heir to the Empire to be like to drive subscriptions to Disney Plus. I think there's a chance they do that. And then on the front, and then or either a movie or a show on the Dawn of the Jedi. I don't think James Mangold is going to do that. Coming off of his last two movies were Dial of Destiny, which was panned, and he worked with Lucasfilm directly on that. And then the movie after that was a complete unknown. and he's up for Best Director for A Complete Unknown with Timothy Chalamet playing Bob Dylan.
Hmm.
I don't know if he wants to get back into a multi-year cycle of working on a big franchise movie. Plus, he's also working with James Gunn to make a Swamp Thing movie in the DC universe. And I feel like Gunn is going to give him more creative freedom. I think it's possible they just scuttle this also, and then maybe it comes back at some point in the future. But I think it's equally likely they just kind of cancel and just like, we're not going to do that now.
Okay, so the question is it do any of them get canceled, period, or do any of them get canceled next year or this year?
Within the next year, between now and the end of 2025, do any of them get canceled? I think I think by the end of the year we get confirmation that Heir to the Empire is not happening as a theatrical movie. It's happening as a Disney Plus show or a Disney Plus movie. It's going to be a Disney Plus original regardless.
But that's not a canceling of a movie.
All right, let's rephrase it. Do they get confirmed to not come out theatrically?
Oh,
We'll rephrase it that way. It doesn't come out as a theatrical release. How about that?
no, I don't like that one. I don't feel as
Okay,
prepared to answer it.
so do they get canceled? I'll say yes because I think Dawn of the Jedi gets canceled by the end of the year.
Okay. Um, I do not feel particularly convinced by your argument, nor am I well informed on it, but I will guess that none of them get canceled, so that way we don't tie next year.
Okay. Um, yeah, because I think that the issue is I think Mangold's going to be in a situation that Patty Jenkins was in when she was doing the Rogue Squadron movie that never happened, and I think that that's kind of exactly where it's a very similar situation.
Okay.
Where I think it's going to be the same thing where it's like we got this big director and they're working on this movie with the constraints that Lucasfilm tends to put on people. I don't think it's going to work out well.
Okay.
Number six, does the remake of Knights of the Old Republic get status confirmation? Which means, do we find out anything about this game? Does this game get acknowledged by Sony at any point this year?
Ooh. No.
You don't think it gets acknowledged at all? I think that they were getting to a point where they kind of have to. They either have to cancel it or they have to say,
No.
where it's coming out at some point. I think they need to acknowledge it at some point because it's been at least 5 years since it was announced, and
Okay.
we've heard nothing. Um, Even if it is like, hey, we're making this into a live service thing or something like that, I think Knights of the Old Republic has to get some kind of update this year.
Hmm. Okay.
Number seven, do we get any new books outside the High Republic or the movie eras?
What's the High Republic era
The High
again?
Republic is about 200 years before Phantom Menace.
Okay. Okay.
So that's been their big publishing initiative has been the High Republic. Um, so it's like really all we get is High Republic
No,
or like right around the original trilogy.
I don't think so.
I'm gonna hope against hope. I'm gonna guess yes again. I guessed yes
You're gonna
last
hope
year.
for the
I
goodness.
like look, I guess just give me an Old Republic book. Like acknowledge like it's so weird if you go on the website for the timelines and the various eras of the Star Wars universe, there's a whole section for the Old Republic, but
Mhm.
there's nothing there. There's nothing in development. It's just an empty spot. And it's like the Old Republic happened, but there's no canon anything for that
Well,
section.
it's not safe. It's not an easy buck to make.
And that's the problem. And I think that that is kind of where we are with this ridiculous situation.
Hmm.
With what with what Star Wars is. It's like so much of this is just harping around the original trilogy, and it's gonna bite them in the ass with this. And this is gonna sound like I'm getting political. I think with the current administration and especially what we've seen happen in the 2 weeks since inauguration, um, people are not gonna have an appetite for fiction set in an authoritarian regime.
Okay.
Like we get enough of that in real life. Like,
Okay.
do we need to do we need to have like because like
Why?
the first book coming out this year. is about the early days of the Empire, and it's like I sent an excerpt. I think I sent it to you. But I definitely sent it to Peter because I was like, who could they possibly be talking about with this? Let me just bring it up real quick. I took a screenshot of it and I sent it to him. Hang on, it was a few weeks ago. Um, Hang on, I have it here somewhere. Okay, here it is. This is an excerpt that was released to Entertainment Weekly from the book that comes out. I think it's this month. It's about Mon Mothma and Bail Organa as they're setting up the rebellion. This is a quote. Palpatine is a populist. There's a reason he appeals to worlds like Troith and the reason he appeals to worlds like Troith is because the people there see him making real changes in their lives. He cracked down on corporations. He ended the war. He's promising that the era of out of touch politicians and 12th generation nobility shaping the galaxy for their own benefit is over. He's not giving power back to ordinary people. He's only shifting he who holds it, and he and his cronies don't care about your world or any more than he cares about mine. It's very clear who they're saying Palpatine is meant to be in in this interpretation. I'm not saying that's a bad thing. But if you're gonna do that, it works a lot better if we're removed from that, not actively living through it. So I think this idea of like sitting here and relitigating this same era of fascism in the Star Wars universe is something that's not going to resonate because it's like, how many times can we do this? Like,
Mhm.
even if it is just go to the prequels, like do something different. Um, but I think that they are going to do something outside of the what's it called, outside of the movie eras. I think they're going to go either further back or they're going to do like we saw this week the announcement of a manga set after Rise of Skywalker.
Mhm.
I think they could do something else there. But we're gonna get something outside of that. Besides, I'm not counting the manga because that feels like cheating because it was already announced. Aside from the manga, there could be something else said after. Um, Not to get too
I certainly hope so, you know.
like that's just the thing is that it's like I think a lot of this is going to get very grating on audiences very quickly, and I don't think the Star Wars machine is one that can um very quickly change directions.
Okay.
Like that's the big issue that I have. Number 8, do any Star Wars video games get announced? And let me give you two asterisks with this. We're going to exclude mobile games,
Okay.
but we're going to include confirmation of a Star Wars world in Kingdom Hearts.
I don't, is that a thing that they do?
What in Kingdom Hearts games?
Yeah.
Well, yeah, Kingdom Hearts crosses over with Disney. Everything
I don't know what their deal is.
yeah, in Kingdom Hearts they have it's a Disney crossover. It's Final Fantasy and Disney. Um,
Well, then I think you can't just say you're going to include one tiny thing from one game.
Fine. Well,
I
we
think
won't
you have
include
to
that
say,
then.
is it going to include like, additions to existing games or something like that?
Okay, so we'll only do new games coming out.
Yeah.
Okay, only new games.
I
I
don't
am
think
gonna.
that's a good question. That's a very loaded, specific question.
Okay, so does any Star Wars video game get announced, excluding mobile games and excluding a Kingdom Hearts world for Star Wars and Kingdom Hearts?
Um, no, that's my thought. So my question for you though, after you answer what your thought
Uh-huh.
is do you think would tell us about the Star Wars Kingdom Hearts thing because that I know you really want to talk about it.
Yeah, you figured that out, I think. Um, that was a thinly veiled Trojan horse to see if we could talk about that.
It was
I'm good. I'm nice and
really
subtle like that.
disguised. You are
I'm nice and
super
subtle like
subtle.
that. But
Oh,
I think we do get one. I think we get a third, the announcement of a third Jedi game,
you do. Okay.
Jedi Fallen Order, Jedi Survivor. I think we get a third. Um, and I think there's also a possibility if we're saying just any video game, I think there's a possibility that we get a remaster of something announced. They've been doing a lot of remasters lately. We got a remaster of Jedi Power Battles. We got remasters of Battlefront and Battlefront 2.
Hmm.
They could do Bounty Hunter. They could do Starfighter. Like any of those PS2 era games could get a remaster or a ground up remake.
Hmm.
Um, and then there's also the possibility that they just do a collection of like, here's like all of the NES games for Star Wars. We're gonna put it in a collection. Like that kind of thing could happen too. We've been seeing that a lot lately too. Like Disney did one a few years ago with The Lion King, Aladdin, and The Jungle Book.
Hmm.
They could do something like, and Jurassic Park just had one where they just put out all the Jurassic Park games from like the Sega Genesis era
Oh,
on one cartridge. I could see them doing that. And Yu-Gi-Oh has one coming out this month.
but that's not a new game. That's just a remastered.
Well, no, we're saying does any new Star Wars game get okay, well, I'll
Oh, so
say
we're in we you want to include remasters.
yes, we'll include I mean, look, the Game Awards count remasters for Game of the
Okay.
Year, so
No,
I'll
that's fine. I just want it well defined. That's
okay.
fine.
So do you want to change your answer? Or do you want to keep your answer?
I'll keep my answer.
Okay.
I think you're being too optimistic of them.
I again, yes, I would like I think highly of them, and I don't think they think highly of themselves. As for Star Wars and Kingdom Hearts, I think that we are going to have right now. Square does not have a robust release schedule. They just last year released Final Fantasy 7 Rebirth, which was like part two of the Final Fantasy 7 remake trilogy. Because they're remaking the PS1 game Final Fantasy 7 as a three-part ground up remake. Um, and part two came out last year. Or part three of four of a trilogy. It's a very weird situation. Regardless, it came
Okay.
out last year. Um, the they don't have anything kind of robust on their slate, and right now we're in the middle of the longest drought between Kingdom Hearts games since the franchise started in 2002.
So
Um,
is this something where you actually have things that support it, or are you really
I
just
I
wanting
think
it real, real bad?
well, I think what it is narratively in Kingdom Hearts where they are, it lends themselves to going to a Star Wars world. The trailer they released for Kingdom Hearts 4 does kind of showcase something that looks like it could be Endor, and you can't really say like, well, clearly that's another Disney. Like, there's no other Disney world that you can be like, oh, that's clearly what that is. Because it's
Mhm.
like if it was like, like the Robin Hood or something like that, you'd be like, well, Sora will be a furry there. He wouldn't be himself. He because anytime he goes to another world, he kind of blends into what it is. So like when he went to Toy Story, it was like all toy stuff. Regardless, the point is like there's no clear sense of what that is besides like it's probably Andor. Like so if that's the case, then what do we, you know, what does this look like? Um Narratively, they've kind of flipped, and now it's not just, the same world they've always been in. They're going to this other world that's meant to be fictional worlds. So that would lend them into a place where they could go to Star Wars and have it be separate but kind of the same thing. Um, and I think the thing is, we're due for a big Kingdom Hearts announcement. It's been 2 years, 3 years since the announcement of Kingdom Hearts 4. There's been no movement on it. The last game was the rhythm game that came out 5 years ago at this point. Um, and Square doesn't have anything big on their slate because they just released Dragon Age 3, they just released Final Fantasy 7 Rebirth. They don't have anything there. So I think we're in an age where it's like there's a rumor of a remake of 358 over 2. I think they got to make movement on 4 at some point. And I
Okay.
think we get a 4 announcement this year and it's like, look, here's the thing to sell you on 4. You could go to there's going to be a Star Wars level, and that's going to be a big D23 announcement, I think.
Okay.
Two more questions. Number 9, do we get anything announced from the Old Republic
Excuse
aside from the game we've already talked about, the remake of Knights of the Old Republic, or Legends reprint books, which I don't know if you've seen any of those. The cover art's really cool. They've been reprinting a bunch of the Legends books.
Oh,
Um,
okay.
yeah, with new cover art and kind of like if you want to read the Legends books, you can get them pretty easily now.
Oh,
Um,
okay.
yeah, so they're on like wave 11 of it, but they've been reprinting a bunch of those. So aside from the reprints of the Legends books that are not canon, and the Knights of the Old Republic game remake that's been in development, do we get any new Old Republic stuff?
So my question for you is, okay, you do have all the things. Is that what the except for affirmationed games and for reprints?
Yes.
Okay, that's what that means.
Right, right. Just the Knights of the Old Republic remake and then the reprints of the Legends content.
I think we get more of those and that's it.
Okay.
I think
Um,
nothing. Because I already answered this question, I
right.
think.
With the books, yeah.
Yeah.
I think we get a comic.
Okay.
I think we get a comic. I think that that's the quickest thing that can pivot.
Okay.
Because the comic
You already
is
talked about the comic, didn't you?
no,
Yeah, you said, oh, it's gonna be a comic, but that doesn't count in the books.
no, we didn't talk about the comics at all today.
Hey, bro,
We definitely didn't address the comics because there
you
is a
literally
comic.
just talked about a new comic strip coming out for when you were talking about the books.
No, 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 that was from a book. No, 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 that was a book, not a comic.
You were also talking about a comic.
I don't think we talked about the comics at all.
No, not for very long, but you talked about it coming out.
Oh, well, I mean, the only comic that we have coming out is the Star Wars ongoing is continuing on with Luke, Leia, and Han past what's it called? Past the era of the Battle of Jakku. So it's they're now in like the New Republic era. Um, that's not necessarily the one I think it's going to be. I think IDW is going to transition out of their High Republic ongoing into an Old Republic ongoing because I
Okay.
think the High Republic was meant to be this big multimedia push, and I think it's just it hasn't been a complete misfire, but because I've liked a lot of the books. A lot of the books have been really good. Like Temptation of the Forest that came out last year was fantastic. Um, the thing that the High Republic has failed at is crossing over outside of the books. Because we haven't really like the Acolyte, like despite being the second highest rated show on Disney Plus, was canceled. There's no more Acolyte. They're not there's gonna be more books, but that's it. Um, and then outside of that, the video game Eclipse that we haven't heard anything about in quite some time, that's also High Republic era. So the issue we have is like what like are you just going to have this thing be taking up all of this space across multiple comic imprints? Like, because there is a High Republic ongoing from Marvel, which is like their flagship High Republic thing, but there's also High Republic Adventures coming from, what's it called? Coming from IDW. And I could see the IDW one going away and replacing that with Old Republic.
Hmm. Okay.
Um, and the last question, this is open-ended. What is the upcoming animated show? This is kind of like a bonus question.
Oh, buddy.
Like you know how
Um,
you ever play Pigskin Pick'em on ESPN?
you want me to just do some thinking? Okay.
Well, I gave you this in advance. Um, so for those of you who don't
Bro.
know, like I like to play Pigskin Pick'em on ESPN, which is you go on, you pick like it'll show you every football game for the week, and you pick who you think the winners are going to be, and then the tiebreaker at the end for extra points is always what do you think the final score of the Monday night game is going to be, and then you pick what you think the final score is going to be. Um, And that's or like when you do Oscar pick 'em, which I also do, you pick all the categories who you think's gonna win in each category, and then the last thing is always how long is the first speech. So what do we think the upcoming animated show is going to be? Do you want me to list out what the previous animated shows were to kind of help us along?
No. I think that there's going to be something bounty hunter related. I don't know what.
Interesting. That's actually a really good idea.
Thank you.
Do you have
I had it
a
myself.
do you have an did you look that up?
No. When would I have done that? I
Just
just
now.
learned about the question now.
No, I gave it to you last night.
I only read like line one.
Did you do
It
a
says
cursory Google search?
question. No, I've done no cursory Google.
Okay, I'm not saying I'm not doubting you. It's just the way you said it. I think it's gonna be Bounty Hunter. I was like, wow, that's a good one. You said, yeah, I came up with it myself.
I was just being a shithead.
Oh, okay. What era do you think it's gonna be if it's anything like that?
Ooh.
Like, do you think it's like before the trilogy? Do you think it's gonna be like between the prequels and the sequel and the original trilogy, during the original trilogy?
I think it's going to be something going on during the original trilogy or the second trilogy.
So we'll say after.
Anakin, Luke and Anakin time frames.
Oh, so but at some point
Yes,
between
but
the
it's not
beginning,
going to be before that, and it's not going to be after. It's going to be going on at the same time of the beloved movies.
between episodes 1 and 6.
Yeah.
Okay. I like that take. I like that idea because I think that if they do something exploring the bounty hunters, that's something that's always popular. It's a great crowd pleaser because bounty hunters are always loved.
Hmm.
Um,
That's what I'm thinking. Is it's kind of safe and it's a little bit different than what they've got going on,
right,
but it's also wicked merch seller if they pick a cool bounty hunter.
exactly. If they do something, or like they could do Boba Fett
And it would fit into their current animation style really well
like
to
that.
create iconic looking characters.
That's the thing is, I think that the if they're gonna do bounty hunters, I think the best way for them to do it to really sell merch and get people on board is to just do Boba Fett during the period like Rebels takes place. What's Boba Fett up to during Rebels, which is like the immediate lead up to, or like during Andor time, where it's like the immediate lead up to what's it called? The immediate lead up to episode 4. Like what's he
Okay.
up to during that time? I think that would be the smartest way to do it
It
because
could be
you
why and maybe it's about, I mean, this is not my guess, but I could see one about, uh, how he loses his team and ends up being on his own.
right that would be a really that'd be a really cool idea. And plus, you get to reuse a lot of assets. That's the other thing that's really helpful about that. Um, I I wrote this question like a month ago, and I didn't actually think of an answer. What will the upcoming animated show be? I
Oh, and
think.
you gave me shit? You weren't prepared?
Listen, I prepared 10
Oh,
questions.
my
Um,
goodness.
let's see.
You're fired.
I don't think it's gonna be bounty. I'm not gonna say bounty hunter because I think that that's the easy answer. I think. Do you remember?
Did you just say my answer was the easy answer?
Yeah, it's the best answer. Like it's clearly the best answer. Like
You didn't have, like, that wasn't your original thought, though?
no, it wasn't.
Oh,
I remember what my original thought was. Do you remember back in when we were kids, would have been like late, no, mid 2000s, a book series called Jedi Quest.
I have seen this series, but I have not read or anything about it.
It's set between episode 1 and episode 2, and it is the
It's like popped up in like when I'm looking for books and stuff.
yeah, it's between episode 1 and episode 2, and it's the story of young Anakin and Obi-Wan and their adventures through the
That's
galaxy. That's what
okay.
I think this is because it gives you the opportunity to kind of really. I think that if there's anything that's not fleshed out during that period of like the prequels and the original trilogy, um, if there's anything not really fleshed out, it's what's the semantics of what happened between episodes 1 and 2 in that 9 year period,
Okay.
kind of laying out who like what happened there. It gives you a chance to lay out the relationship between Obi-Wan and Anakin as master and apprentice. It gives you the ability to flesh out some of how the galaxy works, some of what the
Sure.
politics were of the galaxy. You can get both a little bit of stuff that will be appealing to all audiences while also appealing to the people like me who want to get into more the nitty-gritty of how, the galaxy works. I think I'm gonna say like Jedi Quest because I'll know what that means on the paper. But like I think that is the
What
I think
about
that
like
that's something.
a what about like a what about the spice trade? That'd be kind of cool.
Well, I guess be bounty hunters.
And not just bounty hunters, but like drug dealers.
Yeah, Breaking Bad Star Wars edition.
Yes, that's exactly what I was thinking.
And I
That'd be
think
cool.
let me write
I
that down
mean,
because there's an episode title right there. Star Wars.
I know they'd never do that, but it would
No,
be cool. It's a
like
cool idea.
see, and I think that that's the reason. Like the only reason I think they wouldn't do Bounty Hunter is I think the same reason why Book of Boba Fett kind of failed. Um, because Book of Boba Fett is a TV show about a ruthless bounty hunter who takes over as the criminal overlord of Mos Espa, but doesn't deal drugs and doesn't commit crime. And it's like, okay, so Boba Fett's just mayor of this town then.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
who thought that was a good idea?
I would,
Like,
I think it would be hilarious to have like a spice trade. And especially if it were animated, that'd be so funny.
like that's the thing is that it's like, and we are getting Visions this year too. We are getting a Visions season this year, so do with
Okay.
that what you will.
Okay, I
Um,
will.
but yeah, I think a Spice Trade show could be cool. I guess like I think they're gonna want to have Jedi in whatever they do, like
You think so?
because the last show was the Bad Batch, which had no
Uh,
Jedi except for
that's
Asajj
true.
Ventress. But also with Jedi Quest, like the Jedi Quest books were written before Attack of the Clones, so there's no
Hmm.
mention of Dooku. There's no mention of like
Maybe
the
there'll be a Dooku one. That'd be pretty cool. I mean,
see
they've already
that
got the book that they could go off
that
of.
book was great, but like
And yeah, and I
you
could see
watched
that seems like that could be very easily turned into an animated.
you
Can that
watched
also be my guess? Can that be my second guess? Can I have a
I'll give you the
runner-up?
second. Dooku was a second guest.
Thank you.
I second guessed. Did you saw Tales of the Jedi, right? This would
Mm,
have been like 3 or 4 years ago at this point. It was like the 6 episodes, three about Ahsoka, three about Dooku.
I don't think so.
Yeah, there were 3 episodes about Dooku where it's like why he fell out
No,
with the Jedi Order.
maybe.
The last episode is him deleting Camino from the records after Qui-Gon's funeral
Oh, I think I did watch this.
and defecting, and then he fights Yaddle,
Okay.
and then he just fucking murders Yaddle.
Okay.
Um, but I think like that would be something that'd be interesting to explore in that show. Is that it's like, well, Dooku has defected to the dark side. Who is he working for? What's
Yeah,
the
well,
Trade Federation up to in that 10 years?
that's something they haven't done yet, right? Like they
Exactly.
haven't done anything about Siths and like how they come about or whatever. And like they haven't done like a Sith
Well, that could be
um
That could be the third Tales season, Tales of the Sith.
oh
Like, which would be cool. Like, I think we have three really good options here, and knowing them, they're not going to do any of them. They're going to
yeah.
do like another thing like the Bad Batch, which like was fine, but it overstayed its welcome.
Yeah.
Um, but I think we have good predictions, so we'll just go through them one more time for everyone at home to take to. We're not going to go through everything in depth. We're just going to go through the answers. Question one: Does the first trailer for The Mandalorian and Grogu drop in 2025? We both said yes. Number two: Does season two of Ahsoka enter production in 2025? We both said yes. Number three: Does any new live action show get confirmed in 2025? We both said yes. Josie gave me some gripes about listing her as a yes, but she said yes. Number four: Do any of the confirmed movies enter production? We both said yes. Number five: Do any of the confirmed movies get canceled? I said yes. Josie said no. Number six: Does the remake of Knights of the Old Republic get any update on its status? I said yes. Josie said no. Number seven: Do any new books set outside the High Republic or the movie eras get announced? I said yes. Josie said no. Number eight: Do any video games get announced, excluding mobile games? Um, I said yes. Josie said no. Number nine: Do we get anything in the Old Republic announced? I said yes. Josie said no. And number 10: What will the animated show be? I said Jedi Quest. Josie said Bounty Hunters set at some point between episode 1 and 6, or a Dooku show. Um,
If I
what?
win that, what do I win?
Pizza, same as last year.
Really?
Remember we said that last year.
Does that mean I have to send you pizza?
If I win,
Oh, this year.
right? But last year we tied.
Oh, okay.
So
No, I
last year,
don't remember that. I feel
la
like you're just trying to get a pizza out of me.
well, no, if that was the case, I would have fudged it so I won because I keep track of the score.
I'm totally kidding.
Um, so what was the TV show you wanted to talk about briefly before we go?
Oh shit. What's that one with the guy with the laser beams and the hair that's kind of like Superman but isn't?
The Boys.
Yeah.
I only watched season 1 of The Boys. I have not watched past season 1.
I've watched all of it. I even watched the spin-off thing from the kids in
Oh,
the
Gen V.
superhero squirrel, the superhero school. I like it a lot. It's fun.
Yeah, I keep meaning to go back to it. I watched season 1. I really enjoyed season 1, but I have not gone back to it
It
yet.
gets better.
Really, it gets better
And
from
then it
season
gets
1.
a little bit worse.
I heard
And
that.
then I think I'm hopeful that it will get back to better.
I've heard from people who watched the show, and again, not to get political, that it felt like they wrote the last season with the thought process that Trump was not going to get reelected. And then it's like, now how do you do the new season with this actually happening? And we'll see. But
Oh.
Invincible comes back next week. The animated show on Amazon Prime.
Oh,
Um,
okay. The what?
the animated show Invincible.
Invincible. No, I've oh, really?
Yeah, it comes back next week.
Oh, sweet. That's a cool show.
And the Spider-Man show is really good too.
Because that's the one really gory one, right?
Yes,
Yeah. That
the
one was shocking.
the Spider-Man show was really good. And then what was the other one that I watched recently that was really good? Oh, Harley Quinn. The new season of Harley Quinn is really good too.
I should check in. Did you ever watch any of those animes that I suggested to you?
I have not because I've been swamped lately, with a lot of things going on. Um, and
Oh,
also,
you're allowed to be busy, but
what do you mean? What do you mean I'm allowed to be busy?
but I'm not.
I didn't say you're not allowed to be busy. Listen, it's Oscar season. It's my busy time. Like,
Why are you getting an Oscar?
yeah, no, I try to cover all the movies as much as possible for the Academy Awards, which
Oh,
is difficult this year because I was out of a car for a good amount of time, right when the Oscar movies were coming out.
oh,
So tomorrow I'm going to the movies. Friday I'm going to the movies. Um, but yeah, we'll wrap up there for today because I am hungry and I have not eaten yet today. That's not true. I had
oh.
a Pop-Tart earlier. Um,
Why did you wait so long?
well, because I got home and then you said you'd be ready, and then we recorded, and here we are an hour
Why
and 10
don't
minutes
you
later.
don't eat in the middle of the day?
I had a Pop-Tart.
Like at work?
No,
You don't eat like a good lunch?
no,
And you didn't eat when you got home?
no. I got home at like 6:30.
You didn't eat breakfast?
No,
Why?
because I have the eating habits of a 7th century peasant.
Oh,
And
okay.
now I'm gonna gorge myself on chicken pot pie and probably some cereal later.
Oh, okay. Good
And
luck.
and and you wonder why I'm so fat. Like that was the thing is I was waiting for you to come on, and I'm just sitting here staring at my
Never
reflection.
say that.
And it's like I'm sitting here staring at my reflection, and I'm like, oh God.
Oh, oh,
It took you like 10 minutes to log in. I'm like, could you just hurry up? I hate staring at myself.
oh, oh.
Um,
That's
I'm starting to like Pizza the Hut from Spaceballs.
stop.
Um, but yeah, so we'll wrap up there for today. Hopefully, Josie will be on more often as her schedule gets more consistent.
I really hope
Um,
so.
I think our next movie is probably like The Last Jedi, which is a movie that I've been very much looking forward to talking about on here because I think it's the
Yeah.
first movie that me and you are diametrically opposed on.
What movie again? Ooh, The Last Jedi. That broke up real bad. Um, Okay.
Yeah, I think it's the first movie that we're diametrically opposed on.
Okay.
Um, oh wait, no, we have to do Rogue One, so we haven't done Rogue One yet. We'll do Rogue One next.
Okay.
All right, so that'll be our next episode. So until then, have a great rest of your week.
Bye.